Hey everybody, like I said, there were so many questions, so let's roll into the final four. And the first question is, hey Katie, so I just found out I'm pregnant with my second child. Congratulations. I'm so excited but worried about how my eating disorder will affect the baby. My question is, how can I control my eating disorder so that I can still eat enough for the baby to grow healthy and strong? Do you have any tips or tricks? I'm trying to talk back to the eating disorder voice at the moment, but still struggling. Yes, there's a lot of things that we can do. First, and I'm sure you saw this coming, we need to work with our team. So I would encourage you, it'd be worth the money and the investment in time working with a dietitian and a therapist, and obviously seeing your doctor regularly, which you're going to be doing anyways. But I would encourage you to sign the release so they can all talk to one another, so that they all are aware. And I know that can be hard. I know we can have a lot of embarrassment or shame or whatever it may be, or maybe you just like to keep our eating disorder secret. I've had patients tell me that too. But whatever it may be, that is so important for the health and happiness of your baby and you. And then my second tip would be to download my eating disorder workbook and get some extra support and some tools and tips and things that you can work on as you need, because we never know what can come up or what can trigger us, and that can just be a helpful tool for you to access, download, and use when you need it. And then my last words of advice are, don't weigh yourself. Ever. Don't do it. You know, I love one of these memes that came along. It was like a few months ago I saw it. It was like, why weigh yourself when I can just roll in glass on the ground and light myself on fire instead? And I have to agree, don't do it. It's not going to be helpful at this point. And then also the second, and final bit, I guess, of advice I have is focus on the baby. Focus on growing a happy, healthy baby. And I would encourage you to start reading about, I know it's your second, but focusing in on that, whether that's reading self-help books or doing some of the things that you want to do to get the house ready, whatever it is that kind of helps you nest and focus in on the healthy, happy baby versus focusing in on the eating disorder and your body and your weight and all of that, I think the better we will feel. And so getting your team in place, making sure you have plenty of support, plenty of people you can talk openly and honestly about this, I think will really, really help you get through this and grow a wonderful and healthy, happy baby. Question number 2. Although she doesn't know it, my mom can be a very negative person sometimes. She gets frustrated and yells at me quite frequently. Sometimes she'll get mad at me for just dropping something. I'm dependent on her since I'm physically disabled and there's not much available for assisted living, so I feel like I'm stuck. It can also make me feel like a burden. I can only leave the house for so long before I need her help with something again, like toileting. Although she loves me and can be nice, it can get so bad sometimes that I could say she's emotionally abusive. I would say so too. My friends and family say I need to talk to her, and I know I do, but I literally cannot. Every time I talk to her about something she doesn't want to talk about, she says stop talking, and if I try to continue, she yells. If I try to talk to her about it with someone, she denies everything. It's been like this for years, and I've learned to ignore it and not let it bother me, but since I'm off my antidepressants now, it's starting to affect me more. It's not only the yelling that upsets me, it's also so hard to be around the negativity, especially when I'm trying to be a positive and strong person. Do you have any advice on what I can do? No one knows how to help me anymore. Also, sometimes I do find myself dissociating when she's yelling. I've heard you talk about it a lot, but I'm wondering if this is a bad defense mechanism or if it's okay to use it to cope. This was tricky because I know you said you feel very stuck, and I would look into other residential treatment options. I truly would, even if it means moving into a different county or a different city or whatever it may be. I would do my research because it is emotional abuse. And you don't deserve it because you are a dependent adult, and that is just straight up emotional abuse. You should feel safe and happy and healthy and okay in your home, and you don't, and I hate that, and I'm sorry that that's happening to you. And if that's not possible, if you're like, I don't want to move and I can't do it, I totally understand. The next thing is you'd have to take her and get her into therapy with you at some point. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you make that happen. You could tell her that you need to talk about some stuff and it's important that she's there because she's your caretaker, whatever. I don't know. If you can make that happen, you can get into therapy and get her there, that would be ideal. Because in therapy is going to be the only way you're going to be able to say what you want to say and have her hear you. And the tricky thing about that, though, that I just have to be honest, as a therapist, I would be mandated to report that abuse because you are a dependent adult. And I don't want to get you in any situation where you feel like you're trying to help and then it ends up making things worse. So just keep that in mind. If you have a family member who you could try to talk it out with, I know you said that she'll just deny everything, but you could just talk about trying to be positive, and maybe there are certain things you can put up around the house. But my best advice with all this in mind is just, we need to get you out of there. I would look into other options. And I know she loves you and she's doing her best. And being a caretaker can be hard. I totally get that. But that doesn't mean that you're deserving of what she's doing. And the abuse you're sustaining each and every day is going to be really hard. Especially now you're off your antidepressants and you're feeling worse. I would work really, really, really hard to find another place to live. And also, I don't want to forget your question about dissociating. I mean, for right now, it's just your only way to cope and your brain's only way to get reprieve from the abuse that you're sustaining every day. And so I honestly think it's okay for now. It shows you how much abuse you are going through and witnessing and having to deal with. And that's why your brain's pulling that ripcord. But I wouldn't worry about that right now. I think the main thing is to get you to a safe and happy place where you no longer feel so on edge, filled with negative energy and, just kind of maybe potentially scared. Question number 3. Hey Katie, I am so excited. I'm going on a trip to Europe in a few weeks with a couple of friends from college. We'll be gone for about 2 full weeks. Yay! One thing I'm nervous about though is being around people so much and not having the ability to get the alone time I need. I totally feel that. I'm a person who very much needs my alone time to recharge. We are going to be staying in the same room and we'll be with each other all day, every day. Do you have any tips or things I can do while I'm on my trip to recharge, or just be at my best so I can enjoy and get the most out of this trip? You're gonna have to talk to them about it. I know that kind of sucks and we don't always want to tell people all of our stuff, but you're going on a trip for 2 weeks. They're going to need to know that you crave and honestly need alone time in the same way people need food and water. You're going to need it for your survival. And so I would let them know and just be honest about it and say that you'll, maybe get up earlier and go for walks or sit by yourself or have coffee and be in silence, whatever it is that recharges you, whether that's like coloring you could do in the evening by yourself, putting your earbuds in, maybe you can get noise canceling headphones so you don't have to hear anything that they're doing and you can kind of be in your own zone. Whatever you do, plan it out now. Talk to them now so that it doesn't interfere with any of the things you want to do. Because I want you to enjoy your trip. I don't want you to miss out on any of the sites or any of the activities because you're just feeling maxed out and drained. So make time for it. But please talk to them. Let them know what you need and how you're going to plan it in so that they're all on board. And if they're good friends of yours, which it sounds like they are, they're going to totally understand. And the way you could verbalize it is you could just say, guys, sometimes I just get maxed out and like so drained when I'm going and around people all the time. So I'm going to try to get up early so I can just have some alone time to recharge. Cool? And I 100% believe that they will be like, yeah, let us know if you're feeling overwhelmed or if we need to do something. I mean, they'll be so accommodating, I have no doubt, but we need to let them know ahead of time before we're there and feeling maxed out, and maybe we snap at them because we're drained and feeling irritable. Oh, and also before I forget, if you know that there's a day where you're not going to be able to fit in any of this downtime, make sure you just do a little bit more the day before or the day after to kind of give you a little cushion so you still feel recharged enough to keep going. And the 4th and final question for this month's videos, man, there were so many questions. I hope you're finding these answers helpful. But this question is, I was going hospital hopping. I lied about hallucinations and voices in the emergency room to get into the psych ward. In 6 months, I went to the hospital 7 times in 4 different states. Now I'm getting my college degree in psychology soon, and I'm looking for a job running groups in the psych ward. I'm paranoid that insurance companies are after me, even though all of my hospital bills were covered. None of my hospital records say anything about lying. The unnecessary meds were messing with my head for sure. My family and therapist don't seem to think that something is wrong. I know I don't have Munchausen syndrome because I don't like the attention, but I think I'm malingering. Should this be taken more seriously? What if I can't stop going to the hospital? And just so you know, for the definition of malingering, it's when we exaggerate or make up an illness to kind of get out of something or to not be held responsible. The truth about this question is that it could be malingering, that could be what you're struggling with, and I would really encourage you to talk with your therapist about it. I know you said that they don't really think like anything is wrong. It might behoove you to get a different therapist, because if you were my patient and you came into my office and told me about this, I'd have a lot of questions about why and what was in it for you, and if you're worried that you're going to have to go back and where that's coming from. There's a lot still to work through, and I think I would encourage you to do that work first before you worry about running groups. I do not think this is going to stop you from being a wonderful mental health professional, but we have to work on ourselves first before we try to help other people, because trust me, nothing can be worse than when we're in a session with a patient who's looking to us to get help and we can't help but keep our own stuff out of it. And I mean that because countertransference is real and people can be really confronting without realizing it, and we need to be able to hold our own and be okay with it. And so I just encourage you to maybe find another therapist or someone who will take you seriously, because I do think this is an actual issue and something that needs to be dug into so we can figure out what caused it, what was the root of the root, what created this urge in us, and how can we heal from that, or how can we better, manage or cope with the urges to do it again. I hope you found all those answers helpful. Thank you all so much for your support this month and every month. You make the channel possible. I know I say it all the time, but thank you just never seems like enough. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful month, and I will see you next time. Bye.